All right, good Friday morning, everyone. This is Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams here with a digital desk update for you. And we are talking about how it's going to stay nice and dry today, but also how it could get pretty cold tonight. And, maybe some frost might be in the mix for some of us. I made a joke earlier during Good Morning Mississippi. Jack Frost might nip at our nose. That's the lyrics of the song. But we were also thinking about, really, how creepy is that? Like, a guy nipping at your nose. Or maybe it's just like frost in general and not an actual person. Either way, let's take a look at the forecast as we get to your conditions here. So let's take a look. You've got, first of all, the journey that we've gone so far this week. We've started off in the 80s earlier this week, but then we've seen that rain that we had on Tuesday. And then it started to get a little cooler on Wednesday, and then that was a look at yesterday, Thursday. We didn't even hit 70, and we have no hope of 70 again until we go to Sunday. Our satellite inverse alert radar, you can see that there's actually rain and snow in the northeast, but we are down where it's dry, so just some dry high pressure nearby. But this late November cold snap is allowing for plenty of cool air to kind of spill on down out of Canada, down across the lower 48, especially in the eastern half of the country. So there's a look at the forecast for today. Dry, sunny, highs in the 60s. And we can kind of walk through those temperatures for you here with our temperature forecast. So as of the current moment, during the 8:30 time frame, still seeing 40s and 50s across the area. It's a chilly morning, but then we go to the midday today, and you're seeing temperatures finally getting to the 60s. 3 o'clock today, temperatures rolling into the mid 60s in a few places, which is actually a little below normal for this time of year. But let's talk about this evening. Do you have some Friday evening plans, Friday night plans? Because it's going to cool off pretty quickly. By 6 p.m., you're looking at 50s, and by 9 p.m., chilly 40s in most spots. And then we go to the overnight. This is the Jack Frost stuff that we're talking about. Maybe when we get to Saturday morning, temperatures could get so cold, mid and lower 30s for some places, that frost could possibly form. Now, this is a look at what I'm forecasting. About 38 for places by the beaches like Bay St. Louis, Ocean Springs, Long Beach, Goshen. But then for places that are inland north of I-10, that's where you might come down to the mid to lower 30s. And that would be closer to Van Cleve, Saucier, Wiggins. Now, the National Weather Service has already put out some weather alerts because of the cold coming Friday night to Saturday morning. There's a frost advisory for places like Stone and George counties, a freeze watch near Hattiesburg, and a freeze warning near Jackson and Meridian. So there is a possibility of seeing some pretty cold stuff Friday night and Saturday morning across the area. But I've got my frost tracker here for Saturday morning, and I am seeing the potential for frost across a good section of South Mississippi north of Interstate 10. So there's plenty of spaces in that red and that purple, whether it's Van Cleve, whether it's near Lucedale, whether it's near Wiggins, whether it's near Saucier, maybe near the Kill, maybe near Picayune, maybe near Poplarville. Those are several places where if you're in those locations or near those locations, you may want to plan on widespread frost as a possibility for your Saturday morning. I think it's not a good enough chance to see frost once you go south of I-10. So places like Bay St. Louis, places like Waveland, parts of Gulfport, Biloxi that are south of I-10, Ocean Springs, you might not have a good enough chance to see much frost, so you might not have to worry about this. But if you are in those places that I mentioned that were in the red, that were in the purple, that's where there's a really good likelihood of temperatures in the lower 30s, which will result in frost formation from midnight Friday night to 8 o'clock Saturday morning. And that frost could actually harm any sensitive outdoor vegetation any sensitive outdoor plants could actually be harmed or killed if they're left uncovered. So it's actually a good idea to take steps now before you go to bed Friday night. Take those steps to protect any of your tender plants from the harsh cold that will be on the way Friday night into Saturday morning. So the good news is that after we get through the possible frost Saturday morning, there will be some improvement for our morning temperatures. So if you're not a fan of the cold, Saturday morning is the worst, and then Sunday morning still chilly, but then the rest of the morning is actually quite mild. We'll head into mild mornings in the 60s going into next week. You can see Thanksgiving morning, a low temperature of 63. As far as the afternoon high temperatures are concerned, those are going to become milder as well, especially as we go to Sunday, 74 for the high temperature on Sunday. So that breaks us out of the cold snap, and we stay on the mild side for most of next week. You can see the high on Thanksgiving Thursday, 74, which is certainly above normal. It's not like we're calling for 80s or anything. It's not going to be hot on Thanksgiving, but it's not going to be this type of cool snap that we have now. But it could be a close call because there is still an indication that the day after Thanksgiving could cool down again. So that's your 7-day forecast, and you can see that, yes, the trend through the next 7 days shows an increase in temperature from now to Thanksgiving. But if we looked beyond the 7-day forecast and look at the next 10 days, that's where you can see that maybe it cools back off. So here's a look at the next 7 days, and you can see, like we said, turning milder next week. But after Thanksgiving Thursday, look at Black Friday, Friday, November 29th, more than a 10-degree drop in temperature. So this, from Thanksgiving 74 to Black Friday 62, could be another cold snap for us as we end the month of November and begin the month of December. So keep in mind that there could be another round of chilly temperatures that could follow into the final part of the month. And, you know, it is not set in stone on the speed of this cool down. So what I'm saying is that even though when we checked it yesterday and we checked it today, the trend kept the cool down on Friday, what if the cool down speeds up a little bit and gets here for Thursday? That is still something I'm not ruling out. So while for now the trend keeps the cool down on Friday, just know that because this is so far in the future, sometimes the forecast can fluctuate a little bit, and maybe some of the cooling temperatures could speed up, maybe they could slow down, or you could have other changes like that. Once you go that far out into the future, the forecast certainly is not nailed down. It's not set in stone or anything like that. So just keep that in mind for your holiday plans, the potential for a cool down either around or just after Thanksgiving Thursday. So that's something that we'll be monitoring for you in the First Alert Weather Center heading into the next 7 days. We keep a close eye on your holiday outlook. For now, it is feeling like fall, but we go to next week and things turn milder just in time for Thanksgiving, with that potential for frost Saturday morning and then mild stuff heading into Sunday and next week. So that'll pretty much do it for your Digital Desk update on this Friday morning. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams, and of course, we'll catch you again in the next one. Take care.